What are you doing, man? besides sitting and talking to your boss.
Danny Koker, a passionate car enthusiast, inspired countless people to discover, remodel, and customize rare cars and motorcycles. Fans flocked to Counting Cars to see Danny's magical transformations in action. But behind the fun and success displayed on screen at Count's Customs, there lies a hidden story of betrayal, disappointment, and heartache. In this video, we'll dive into the darker side of the shop and explore the 5 worst employees on Counting Cars who caused Danny the most trouble. Early life and influence.
Yeah, to be honest with you, good question. Yeah, bro, I've been everywhere. I've been blessed.
Born in Detroit, the heart of the American automobile industry, Danny Koker had everything around him to spark a deep passion for cars. Growing up in the midst of the big 3 General Motors, Ford and Chrysler, it was almost impossible not to be influenced by the power and grace of the vehicles that lined the streets. The sound of engines revving, the glint of chrome and muscle on wheels, sent messages not just of beauty, but of pure, unadulterated passion. Danny Koker developed this passion from an early age. But unlike most, he didn't just admire the gleaming metal or the power under the hood. He saw something deeper, a soul on wheels. It wasn't just about looking at a car, it was about understanding it, bringing it back to life, and making it special, no matter what condition it was in. While his peers were out on the streets, cruising to the latest trendy tunes, Danny was tucked away, working on engines, piecing together puzzles, and trying to revive old cars, his passion blossoming in quiet solitude. But Danny wasn't alone in his love for cars. This passion ran in the family. His father, Danny Koker Sr., was not just an ordinary man. He was a talented musician, touring the world with the Cathedral Quartet. Music was in his blood, but so too was a deep love for cars. His father's fascination with automobiles was almost poetic. When he returned from long tours, he didn't rush to relax or unwind. Instead, he would retreat to his garage, where his cars awaited him, and he would sit, gazing at them, enveloped in the ambiance they exuded. This ritual made a profound impact on Danny. At the age of 9, Danny's father brought home a car that would change his life, a 1966 Shelby Mustang GT 350. The sight of that car was more than just a moment of awe for Danny. It was the spark that ignited his dreams. The sleek, chrome finish of the Mustang was more than a vehicle. It was a symbol of beauty, power, and craftsmanship that Danny would forever cherish. In his early years, Danny's car repair hobby was just that something he did in his spare time. But little did he know that this hobby would ultimately define his future. Before diving fully into the world of cars, Danny explored other interests. Growing up in a family where entertainment was a significant part of life, with his father's success in music, Danny was naturally drawn to the idea of following in his father's footsteps. He thought that entertainment might be an easy and lucrative career path. However, Danny wasn't entirely captivated by music. He had an unusual passion for vampires. Driven by this fascination, he moved to Las Vegas, hoping to make a name for himself as a television personality. In Las Vegas, he began hosting a show called Count Cool Rider. The late-night horror movie program had its own flavor of fun and excitement, laced with a sense of fear and intrigue. Danny dressed as a rock and roll vampire, introducing classic horror films, and soon developed a small but loyal cult following. It was an unusual show, but it gained momentum, captivating the faint-hearted while providing great entertainment. Yet, even as Danny became a local celebrity through his show, he never lost sight of his first love, cars. He used the earnings from Count Cool Rider to build his car collection, not just buying, but restoring and customizing them to give them a new life. His creations caught the attention of car enthusiasts who noticed the unique touch Danny added to each vehicle. His custom designs, which redefined classic cars by incorporating bold, rebellious elements and flame paint jobs, set his work apart. Soon enough, his workshop, Count's Custom, began attracting attention. People would visit, marveling at the incredible transformations Danny made on classic cars. While the number of fans grew, Danny remained somewhat under the radar, not yet receiving the mainstream recognition he deserved. But he was patient. He continued doing what he loved, perfecting his craft, until fate presented a new opportunity. That opportunity came through the Pawn Stars show. Danny's proximity to the gold and silver pawn shop worked in his favor. Recognizing his immense knowledge of cars and mechanics, the producers of Pawn Stars began to turn to Danny for advice. He became a sought-after expert for vehicle and motorcycle-related matters on the show. Danny's charm, combined with his deep expertise, made him an essential asset to the show. And as the producers noticed, it was clear that having Danny on a car show would mean success. In 2012, the big break came. The History Channel launched Counting Cars, and it was no surprise who was chosen to anchor it. Danny Koker, with his crew from Kustoms, found themselves in the limelight. The show focused on the restoration and customization of classic cars, but what made it stand out was its authenticity. Unlike many reality shows that relied on drama and scripted storylines, Counting Cars showcased the genuine process of restoring cars, and viewers were drawn in by the real passion and skill that went into every project. From the very first season, Counting Cars captured the audience's attention. The crew's chemistry, their shared love for cars, and the passion that drove their work created an atmosphere of authenticity that resonated with fans. Danny, with his natural charisma and genuine enthusiasm, became the face of the show. By the third season, Counting Cars had become a major hit, establishing itself as the biggest automotive show on television. With the growing popularity of the show, Danny's fame skyrocketed. No longer was he just the guy working on cars in the background. He was now a television personality, a celebrity in his own right. The success of the show led to a greater following, and soon, Kustoms became a popular tourist destination. Fans from all over flocked to the workshop, eager to witness the magic behind Danny's custom cars and to see the legendary mechanic at work. The noise of revving engines was now joined by the sound of excited fans asking questions and taking in the sights of the famous workshop. But fame brings its own set of challenges. As Kustoms became more popular, Danny's once private workshop began to feel more like a public attraction. The relaxed atmosphere, where the crew would joke and laugh, was slowly replaced by the pressure of being in the spotlight. Everyone, from the crew to Danny himself, started to feel the weight of increased expectations. With the cameras rolling and more fans visiting, the dynamics within the workshop started to shift. Workers, once part of a close-knit family, began acting differently, trying to present themselves more professionally, and tensions started to build. The increased pressure started to take its toll. What had once been a labor of love and creativity was now also about meeting deadlines and fulfilling the demands of a growing fan base. The workers began to focus more on appearances and less on the passion that had originally driven the work. It was a natural shift, but it created friction. As pressure mounted, Danny was forced to lay off some of the old crew and bring in new faces to maintain the efficiency of the workshop. Not everyone was happy with the changes. As the stakes got higher, some workers began to voice their dissatisfaction, even going as far as filing lawsuits over their pay. The atmosphere had changed, and with it, the sense of camaraderie. Danny, however, remained firm in his commitment to quality. He refused to compromise on the standards that had made Kustoms what it was, even if that meant pushing his workers harder or making difficult decisions. The changes in the workshop didn't go unnoticed by the fans. While they continued to tune into the show, many began to wonder what was happening behind the scenes. The crew that had once seemed like a tight-knit family was now facing growing pains, as fame and fortune brought about new challenges. In the next chapter, we'll explore the personal struggles that Danny faced as fame continued to rise and the impact it had on his personal life and his team at Kustoms. Scott Jones.
How's it going today? I'm Scott. I'm the project manager here at Kustoms. I want to give you a quick tour of our building.
Scott Jones was one of the original team members who helped get Counting Cars off the ground in its early days. While Danny Koker was the face of the operation, Scott was the person working behind the scenes, managing the shop and ensuring everything was running smoothly. He made sure that things were organized, budgets were followed, and deadlines were met. Scott played an essential role in making sure the business thrived. Without Scott, Counting Cars may not have become the hit it was. Scott was known for his blunt, no-nonsense nature. He didn't sugarcoat things, and he wasn't afraid to speak his mind. Whenever a purchase was needed, he would review the company's finances to make sure that the expense was justified. He wasn't just concerned with making history or acquiring valuable cars. He was determined to make sure that the financial side of the business was balanced. If something didn't align with the budget, Scott would put his foot down and say no. This sometimes caused tension with Danny, who often wanted to push the boundaries and acquire cars that were beyond the company's financial reach. The audience may have caught glimpses of these subtle arguments between Danny and Scott, and at times, the tension could be felt both on and off camera. But despite their differences, it was clear that Scott's approach helped the business stay grounded. At the end of Season 2, Scott suddenly disappeared from the show. There was no official explanation, no farewell, and no special mention of his absence. The fans were left wondering why he was no longer a part of the show. Rumors started circulating that perhaps a major conflict had arisen between Scott and Danny, or maybe something personal had caused Scott to leave. No one knew for sure, and Danny stayed silent on the matter. Months later, the truth came out. It turned out that Scott's exit wasn't due to any conflict or disagreement. Instead, it was a personal decision. Scott had made the choice to leave Las Vegas and return to Tennessee, where his family lived. He realized that his family should be his priority, and that no career, no matter how successful, should keep him away from them. Scott's decision to leave was a respectful one. He didn't create any drama or controversy. He simply made the choice to be closer to his family. And while his departure was a loss for Counting Cars, it was a decision that many respected. After settling in Tennessee, Scott founded Koker's Extreme Automotive, where he continued to work in the automotive industry, specializing in car remodeling and restoration. His passion for cars never waned, and his dedication to the industry continued to shine through in his new venture. Scott's exit from Counting Cars serves as a reminder that sometimes the most important thing is family. He may have left the show, but his passion for cars remained as strong as ever. His decision was made with thought and care, and he moved on to continue his work in the industry, with the love of his family by his side. However, the next departure from the show was not as peaceful as Scott's, and it will definitely make you rethink everything you thought you knew about the Counting Cars crew. Stay tuned for the next chapter in the saga of Count's Kustoms and the people who made it a household name. Joseph Frontiera.
Dude, did I tell you? Did I tell you?
Holy crap.
I know, man.
Joseph Frontiera is a name that most Counting Cars fans wouldn't immediately recognize. He wasn't the one turning wrenches, painting hot rods, or custom building vehicles, but Joseph was a key figure behind the scenes as the bookkeeper at Count's Kustoms. Hired through Randstad USA, a staffing agency, his role was essential to the day-to-day operations of the company. He managed the payroll, paid the bills, and kept the financial records in check. Danny Koker trusted Joseph to handle the business finances without much oversight, and for a long time, everything seemed to be running smoothly. However, as the business grew and the company's fame skyrocketed, so did the expenses. The influx of money brought about an increase in costs, and with it came an opportunity for Joseph to take advantage of his position. No longer satisfied with his salary, Joseph began embezzling funds from the company. At first, his actions were subtle, creating fake records and inflating expenses. But soon, his scheme grew more brazen. He began forging Danny's signature to withdraw even more money from the business account, all under the guise of official company expenditures. Joseph's theft reached a staggering $75 million, money that was supposed to be invested back into Count's Kustoms to support its growth and success. Instead, Joseph diverted those funds into his personal account to fund his desire for a luxury lifestyle. He used the stolen money to make extravagant purchases, such as a down payment on a Range Rover and funding lavish vacations, including airfare for cruises to exotic destinations. To cover his tracks, Joseph went to great lengths to hide his actions. He created fake invoices and fabricated billing records to justify his withdrawals. But as his scheme continued, the amount of money he was siphoning out of the business grew, and eventually, the fraud was discovered during an audit. The revelation came as a devastating blow to Danny, who had placed immense trust in Joseph. A man he considered part of the family had betrayed him and the company he worked so hard to build. The stolen funds were intended to help grow the business, fund new builds, and pay for the continued success of Count's Kustoms. But instead, they had been used to fund Joseph's personal desires. The situation took a legal turn, with Joseph facing charges of theft and forgery. Randstad USA, the staffing agency that had placed Joseph with Count's Kustoms, was also dragged into the legal battle. The fallout from Joseph's actions was significant, not just for him, but for everyone involved with the business. The impact was felt far and wide, and the trust that once existed within the company was shattered. After the legal proceedings, Joseph vanished from the public eye. He was never seen on Counting Cars again, and fans began to notice his absence. No official explanation was given by the show, and the situation was left unexplained for some time. It wasn't until later that the full details of the fraud were revealed to the public. Joseph's disappearance from the show marked a major shift in the company's atmosphere. Danny became more cautious and vigilant. The environment that had once been open and trusting became much more guarded. Every decision, every action, and every employee was scrutinized more closely. Joseph's betrayal led to a shift in how Count's Kustoms operated. The company was no longer as relaxed and trusting as it had once been. The entire dynamic changed, and Danny learned valuable lessons about the importance of trust and oversight. The emotional and financial toll of Joseph's actions left a significant gap in the company. While he hadn't been a visible face on the show, his actions had profound consequences for Count's Kustoms. The business was never the same after the scandal, but Danny moved forward, using the experience as a lesson to rebuild and protect the integrity of the company. Joseph may have been gone, but the lessons learned from his betrayal would continue to shape the future of Count's Kustoms. Roly Tabo.
So you said you were gonna wash my car.
Danny needed this done, so I have to do this first.
Roly Tabo quickly became a fan favorite on Counting Cars, captivating both viewers and shop members with his charm. His thick Hungarian accent, bright smile, and infectious energy brought life to the show. But his role was far more than just a source of entertainment. As the shop's lead detailer, Roly was responsible for ensuring that every car that left Count's Kustoms looked flawless. He made sure that no detail was overlooked, and every build met the highest standard. His job was to prevent mistakes and ensure that the cars lived up to the vision. Beyond his technical role, Roly's larger-than-life personality made him an integral part of the show. He wasn't just another mechanic. He was the guy who brought fun and humor to the shop. But when it came to his work, he was a perfectionist. He didn't take shortcuts, always ensuring that every vehicle was detailed to the highest standard, which made him indispensable to the crew and the show's success. However, in 2017, everything changed. News broke that some detailing equipment had gone missing, and suspicions started swirling. This was no ordinary tool. It was worth thousands of dollars, not something that could easily be hidden. As rumors swirled, the biggest shock came when Roly himself disappeared from the show without any explanation. What happened? Why did he suddenly leave? Danny Koker and the show's producers remained silent about Roly's departure, leaving fans confused and curious. Whispers began to circulate that the missing tools might have been connected to Roly's exit, but this was all speculation. In the months that followed, it was revealed that Roly had started his own detailing business, Rock and Roly Custom Detailing, still operating in Las Vegas. Whether or not Roly took the missing tools remains a mystery, but one thing is clear. Danny's trust in his employees was shaken. The trust line had grown thinner, and Roly's departure left a gap in the team. While Danny continued with Count's Kustoms, the shadow of Rolly's exit loomed large. However, what followed would have an even more profound impact on the show. Shannon E. Cow.
Project I've been trying to finish for so long, it's kind of embarrassing. Now I'm calling in some help.
Shannon Icow was one of the quiet geniuses of counting cars, known for his expertise in custom motorbike design. While not the center of attention or the life of the party, Shannon was an essential part of the show. He didn't seek the spotlight or try to create drama. Instead, he focused on what he did best, creating unique, one-of-a-kind motorcycles. Shannon was a man of few words, letting his work speak for itself. His dedication to his craft was undeniable, and his custom designs were second to none. Though he wasn't a major entertainer like some of the other cast members, Shannon's contribution to the show was invaluable. His passion for motorbikes and his precision in design made him a favorite among fans who appreciated the artistry behind his creations. He didn't need to crack jokes or be the center of attention. His work stood on its own merit, but in Season 7, Shannon's appearances began to grow less frequent. Fans started to notice his absence and became concerned. Shannon had been a major part of the show since the beginning, and the thought of losing him was troubling for many. As his absence continued into Season 8, it became clear that something was amiss. No news of controversy, fraud, or any other drama had surfaced. So what was the reason behind his departure? After some digging, it was revealed that Shannon's departure was not caused by any conflict or drama. Instead, it was due to a shift in the show's direction. As counting cars became more focused on drama and scripted tension, Shannon found it harder to fit in. The show, which had originally focused on custom work and building cars and bikes, began to prioritize entertainment value over the craft. Shannon, a man who was dedicated to the real work of custom motorbike design, felt that the shift wasn't for him. He wasn't interested in the scripted drama. He just wanted to build bikes. After leaving the show, Shannon continued his work in Las Vegas, focusing on his passion for motorcycles and custom designs. His shop became a place where those who truly appreciated custom bikes could find him. He remained dedicated to the craft, away from the spotlight, but still respected by those in the motorcycle community. Mike Henry.
Count's Kustoms, I must admit, is really like a dream come true.
Mike Henry, easily recognizable with his horned helmet and wild mohawk, was another key figure on Counting Cars. He brought an intense energy to the show, adding his bold personality to the mix. As the custom painter, Mike was responsible for adding the finishing touches that made each vehicle stand out. His work was not just about painting, it was about creating masterpieces. Mike's expertise in airbrushing and 3D sculpting made him a valuable asset to the shop. Fans loved watching Mike work because his creations were unlike anything they had seen before. He didn't just slap some paint on a car or bike. He created stunning works of art that added to the car's identity. His attention to detail and his commitment to perfecting each job was clear in every piece he worked on. However, as the show gained popularity and the demands grew, the relationship between Mike and Danny began to strain. Mike was known for his meticulous work, often spending hours or even days on a single project to get it just right. But as time went on, the show's focus shifted. The crew was expected to produce results faster, and Mike's desire to take his time was at odds with the increasing pressure to finish projects quickly. Danny, who was more focused on efficiency and business growth, found it difficult to compromise on the pace of the work. The tension between the two grew, with Mike unwilling to compromise on the quality of his work and Danny unwilling to sacrifice the business's bottom line. Eventually, Mike made the decision to leave. He started his own design business, Honey Mike Design, where he could continue to create the bold and unique airbrush art that he loved without the pressure of television deadlines. While he no longer appeared on Counting Cars, he still made occasional appearances for major projects. Which employee's exit do you think caused the most controversy? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and hit that subscribe button. And be sure to check out the next video on your screen for more behind-the-scenes stories.